What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Down the Line. We are here. The division series have just ended. I think the Cubs one ended probably, like a half hour ago at this point? Something like that. I kind of don't know the minutes, but the Cubs-Brewers Game 5 just ended. The Brewers are going to the NLCS. They're facing the Dodgers. Jays-Mariners on the other end. So we're going to look at the actual matchups that we had in the division series, how those series went, and then we're going to look ahead and look at our championship series matchups. And once again, as always, joined by my boy Ethan. How are we doing? How are we doing on this fine Saturday night?
Doing good. It's ALCS Eve at the moment.
Yup.
So we're definitely going to be running into game day here. So, I'm feeling a bit nervous, but very excited.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We had some damn good series here, some damn good games. Ethan, you're gonna tell us where are we starting? Pick any of the series. Where are we starting at?
Yeah, we could start with the one that ended the quickest, I guess.
All right. All right. So, the first team that punched their ticket to the CS, Jays, they beat the Yankees 3-1 in your home city. Woo! They spread the news. Ethan, obviously for us it's different. We get to relish a little bit more. I don't know about you, Ethan. I was on my hater shit after the series
Oh,
ended.
yeah.
I was on my
Oh,
prime
yeah.
time hater shit.
I was bumping Sinatra all night
I
there.
Ethan, solely based on right after that series, I was in the top 40 listeners this week of Frank Sinatra on earbuds. That is how much I
That's
was
amazing.
listening to only New York, New York. I was on my absolute hater shit, right?
That's
That
amazing.
series ended. I was reposting so many fucking reels. I was getting my tweets off. I was getting all my fucking stuff up. I joined call with one of our friends. He's a Yankees fan, and I literally just started singing New York, New York, and this guy says, "I hope you die," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Listen, it's sweet. It's
uh,
sweet. Um, yeah, man. This series was one that the Jays got off to a ridiculously hot start. They fucking smacked the shit out of the Yankees in the first two games. Then the Yankees they played a Yankees game in Game 3. They were hitting the ball out of the yard. They had a kind of a comeback. They had a pretty decent comeback too in Game 3. And then the Jays, they had one of their games. They were getting the big hits, and then they ran a bullpen game actually in Game 4, which I will be totally honest. I said before that game, I was like, oh god, like this is not going to end well. And then it ended as
yeah.
well as you could imagine. Um, yeah, man. Some things about this series though is that a lot of people have the big thing about this series is that the Yankees beat themselves not necessarily in ways that you would have expected, to be honest with you. In a lot of the games
Yeah,
they lost, like their rotation did not perform well all series, with the exception Schlitt was good in Game 4, but outside of that, their starters were awful. And
for sure.
I think we would both agree, and a lot of people would agree that that rotation was a big strength of them, right? That's a
Yeah.
really good rotation, even with Garrett Cole injured. By the way, that rotation is going to be nuts next year. But Luis Heel, obviously, it's not who you wanted to start in Game 1 because he's been shaky since he came back from the injury. But even so, that Luis Heel is at the end of the day, he's still a pretty good pitcher. He goes Game 1, Fried Game 2, and Rodon Game 3. All three of them get smacked around. They won the
Yeah.
Rodon game, but it doesn't really change that he did not pitch well whatsoever. And I mean, Fried gave up 7 runs. He got chased in. If I'm remembering right, it was like the 4th inning, I think. I think he pitched into the 4th and get an out. If I'm remembering right. For anyone listening who doesn't know, I was at that game 2. That shit was electric. The Ernie Grand Slam, or not Ernie Grand Slam. The Ernie home run was landed really close to me. The George Springer home run literally landed at the end of at the section I was sitting at, so that was kind of big.
That's fire.
They And the big thing here is in the first two games, the Jays, they beat the Yankees in a way that, okay, if you were really following the team closely and you understand what they did well and didn't, it shouldn't be a surprise that they were doing this very well. But a lot of people kind of have a lot of a big misconception about the Jays, and what I'm talking about is they out-homered the Yankees like motherfuckers in the first two games. I think it was like 8-1 or something like that. I don't remember the exact game. It was
Yeah.
like 8-1, 9-1. They had, I think, 2 or 3 in game 1. And then they had a whole bunch in game 2. Some people like to give Toronto the Kansas, like the 2015 Royals thing, that they just, their whole thing is that they just string a million singles together and that's how they score all their runs. They can do that. They have guys that can just poke it and, they're really pesky. That's a big thing. But they also are a pretty good power hitting team. Like, they're not as good as the Yankees or as good as Dodgers or Phillies in terms of
definitely
department.
better than people make us seem, I would say.
Since August, if I remember right, they're like a top 7 or so home run team since August.
Yeah, I saw a tweet where it was like, at least until like July, we were also like, since July we're also like number 7, I think it was the tweet.
Yeah, like,
so just like mashing like unbelievably down the stretch for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a big misconception about this team that they're a contact hitting team. They make a lot of contact, but they're a really good offensive team. They do a lot of different things. They can hit for contact, they can hit for power, they can rip gaps. They work the hell out of pitchers. They do not K. That's a big thing. But that was how they really beat the Yankees in those first 2 games. Was they outpowered the hell out of them, especially against the rotation. How about Trey Savage, man? Trey Savage, bro.
What a pitcher.
Oh my god, man.
He's a treat to watch.
4th big league start. You are starting in a postseason game against the New York Yankees. The best offense in ball, by the way, and it's not particularly close. And he fucking dog walked them. He fried them. I think the only base runner that he allowed that like wasn't an error, because it was an error in like the 4th inning or something like that. I'm pretty sure the only base runner he allowed was a walk in the 1st inning to Judge, if I remember right. And then he
had a no-hitter when he left the game.
He was frying everybody.
And he was just unbelievable that game.
Yeah.
So, and obviously throughout his, short MLB career too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously it was like in the regular season starts, obviously it's a ridiculously small sample size. I don't even think it's like a 15 inning sample. So the fact that he got that start to begin with, it shows you 2 things. It shows you, number one, I'll be totally honest with you, it shows how not great the Blue Jays rotation starting pitching situation is. But it also shows you how much faith they had in him to put him game 2.
Yeah.
To just throw him right in there. And he performed, what was it, 11 strikeouts, 5 2/3 innings, no hits, a walk, I think was his final line, if I remember right. He was ridiculous. His splitter was absolutely frying the Yankees. They were absolutely...
They couldn't hit splitters the entire series, though.
You couldn't.
Not just his.
Well, that's true, but especially his.
Yeah.
Especially his, man. It was nuts.
18 whiffs that game for him.
It was nuts, bro. That's like one of the best pitching performances I've ever seen in person. I've seen some damn good ones. I went to Cleveland. I saw Corey Kluber throw like 9 innings of a 1-run ball against the Rockies when they were like really good, and they had like Chuck Nasty and Arenado. Story, Cargo was still good at this point, or like pretty solid. But that was one of the best pitching performances I've witnessed live. It was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
The crowd was so into it too. Every single, like, so many people in my section, the little thing that the umpires do where they pull the one fist back and they pull the other one forward.
Yeah.
Everyone in my section was doing that whenever you'd get a strikeout. So many people. A bunch of the guys,
awesome.
a decent amount of people in my section too. They were throwing up the little sign the umpires doing the strike 1 and 2. They were so into it. It was trade day.
Great atmosphere.
It was trade day. It was fucking trade day, man. But yeah, this is a series that obviously even before we talked about it, we mentioned this is one of the tougher series. This was probably this might have been, I would have told you between this and then Dodgers Phillies. I can't remember which one I actually said I picked, but these 2 were going to be the closest series in the division series because these teams are very evenly matched. The Yankees are ridiculous on paper. A lot of people did pick the Yankees to win, and that's very understandable. Like, I don't take that as a slight, even though I'm a Jays fan. Like, that Yankees team is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say convincingly beat them because Game 4 was pretty close until Lucas had the 2 RBI hit.
Yeah.
Like, that was a game that New York very well could have, hit a home run and then it's tie game, right? So I'm not going to say that they, like, blew them out of the water or something, but to not even go to a Game 5 is kind of clutch. Also, the bullpen game, everyone performed that game.
That was a masterclass.
I will fully be honest with you. I had a friend over, and we were watching Game 3 at my place, and when we lost, or well, we're saying it near the end of the game because it was like, it was a tough situation to come back from, but we were saying like he said as he left, he's like, yo, talk to me game 5, because I'll be honest with you, I did not really have faith in the bullpen game.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't think it was going to go 5 after we blew that game.
I was like, this is going to go back to Toronto against Schlittler, who, albeit though, I do understand he had a ridiculously good start against the Red Sox, and this is nothing to take away from him. Toronto does handle those types of pitchers quite well. They're a pretty solid hitting team against velocity. They almost didn't strike out against him at all. Like, I think they struck out like 3-4 times against him, which does show you just like how tough to deal with this Blue Jays team is. Even if they're not like a top 3 offense in baseball, they're still a really hard team to deal with just because they fucking just don't go away like ever. The Yankees, though, they had a lot of guys that struggled big in this series who, during the regular season, were really big-time contributors for them. I'm especially looking at Trent Grisham, Giancarlo Stanton, and Cody Bellinger. Those are guys who did not perform well all series. Stanton did not look good at all. He swung at a lot of bad pitches this series. Grisham was kind of doing a similar thing. He was swinging a lot of bad pitches, albeit though, like he Toronto would bring in a lefty almost every single time he came up, it felt like. And obviously Grisham is a significantly worse hitter against lefties, so you're just inherently losing that matchup. And from the Yankees side, there's not really too much you can do. You can bring in Jason Dominguez. He's not great against lefties either, and he's even worse in the field than Trent Grisham is at this point. The Yankees are a team with a lot of question marks surrounding them going into the next season. We'll talk about that, like I'm sure in like an off-season episode or something like that. But how about, by the way, Aaron Judge's series? Listen, a lot of people will tell you that like Aaron Judge sucks in the playoffs. He's not clutch. He's this and that. I personally believe that like in baseball, at least, playoff risers and playoff droppers, I think that those are like 99% like a myth. You can find,
I mean, it's small sample size at the end of the day.
It is, and they're microscopic compared to the regular season. You can look at like guys that are considered like playoff chokers, and you can find them really. You can find good and bad moments from them. You can find players known as like really big time playoff performers, and you can find good and bad moments in series from them as well. Like I wrote an article about this very recently, but like someone points towards. Like David Ortiz has a pretty good playoff reputation, right? But he does have a handful of really bad postseasons, and that's not to take anything away from him. He has a 144 career playoff WRC plus, but it just goes to show you how it's genuinely like such a small sample. I don't think that you can really judge it that well, and I understand it adds up to a big sample over a career, but it's still so many tiny samples that it doesn't really. I don't really think it means much. You know what I mean? And Judge hit fucking, I don't care. He hit 500 in the postseason. He had a near 1,300 OPS. I hope those narratives are put to bed, because I do understand his career playoff numbers don't look great, but I never really understood it. Really, you can find plenty of big time playoff moments from him, and even in this series, I understand they were down 2-0, but that fucking like fastball, like 18 inches inside.
That was unbelievable.
That was in the batter's box.
That was one of the most impressive home runs
that was
I've
ridiculous. That was ridiculous. And like they were saying I don't remember if it was on the Sportsnet broadcast directly or if they were saying it like in the analyst thing like right after, or even if it was a Fox Sports one on a replay, I can't remember, but they were saying like, oh, you should have gone to the knuckle curve away or something like that. And it's like, sure, maybe you should have, but it's like, I don't really know what you can say. It's like he hit a fastball 100 miles an hour in his own batter's box for a fucking homer. I don't really know what you can do about that if you're a pitcher. Like, you know what I mean? It's a rough one, man. That's a tough loss for the Yankees too. I've seen a lot of Yankees fans say that they don't really feel quite as tough about this loss as they do as like a lot of their previous postseason series losses. And I'm not sure if that is because they were coming in. I will not say that they were an underdog, because I do think that like a lot more people would have picked the Yankees to win the series than Toronto. I feel like they were probably like odds wise, they probably were favored. I don't know the betting odds or anything, but I'm gonna assume the Yankees were favored. Yeah,
they were.
Yeah, they were favored. I saw a few things, but I don't know like the grand thing. But yeah, so the Yankees like were favored in the series, but even so, like this team is really good. This was kind of a nightmare round one matchup for them. And And I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's just
we
it's
saw
just
why.
crazy to me. Like, it's like obviously there's nothing you could do. It's the format. And I don't think the current format is necessarily wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think or necessarily bad. But it's just crazy how you have the two best teams in the American League match up in the first round essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first. Yeah.
Obviously the wild card, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the first round that the one seed actually plays in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because one of these teams didn't play in this. Also, I just want to say something. Can we? I think the narrative is kind of dead now. But like, do you remember when everyone was saying how bad the bye was for the
Yeah,
teams who
I
got it?
don't.
3 of the 4
I
teams that
feel like
advanced to the championship series had the bye.
I feel like the one team that didn't is, I mean,
They were going up against the
like,
Dodgers, the reigning champions, with like
exactly,
multiple future Hall
exactly.
of Famers on the team. Like, that's
But
that's a fake
yeah,
3 seed.
I mean, I don't know. Personally, it's just pretty, insane that that's who they like. Good for them for making it and everything and getting there, but just the fact that they couldn't get it done. I
I've
mean,
never
we'll talk about.
I've never understood the narrative, to be honest, because like when you look at a lot of them that have advanced, it's like teams that got like ridiculously hot in the second half and like carried that momentum into the postseason, but they just weren't good enough in the first half to get like a division win or something like
Yeah,
that. And it's like that's what happens a lot of the time. A lot of like, for example, like the Mets last year, they were ridiculous in the second half after not being good in the first half, and then they, beat a lot of the teams in front of them, and then they just got beat by the Dodgers. But some other guys, I quickly want to point some other things out quickly before we move on to the next series, or I don't know, unless you have other stuff to talk about too. But
no, I mean,
some of the guys in this series for Toronto, man, the fucking Earn dog, man.
yeah, I mean, he was unbelievable. He had a 324 WRC plus, which yes, small sample size, but I mean that's what the playoffs are, right? Small sample sizes. So
For anyone
I mean,
who is a little more like simple with their statistics, he had a 1554 OPS. He slugged 929.
he hit 643, and it's just funny to note that his average is higher than his on base percentage because that's Ernie Clement doesn't walk.
That is really funny. There was a sack fly or something somewhere in there, but
Yeah,
that's so funny. Also, I don't know about you, but one thing that really was getting me this series. We know from watching him a lot. We've what he's good against. We know he's not. He's not good against righties, but righties could not get him out this series. It felt like obviously he had the big home run came off of Max Fried, who was a lefty, obviously. But even like games 3-4, he was seeing a lot of righties, and they literally just could not get him out. I mean, nobody could get him out. But you would expect you throw a righty up against him, you have a big time advantage in the matchup, and then he's just like, nah, I'm gonna get on base anyways. It's like,
yeah.
it's tough, man. It's tough. He's red hot. Red hot. The big one is fucking Vlad. That's the guy right there.
Yeah, I mean, his WRC plus, I believe, was like 7 or 8. I think it was 8, like, literally going into this postseason. And it just goes to show how, little sample sizes, they can change in a flash. He went from that to having a 148 over his career in the postseason.
Yeah.
It just goes to show, you have a good stretch, you have a good run, things change. Now he's not seen as a guy who doesn't show up in the playoffs, right? So, and that's another thing, but...
That is another thing, and that's another... Again, that's another reason why like the playoff riser choker narrative in this sport, especially this sport is baseball is so prone to variance and just like shit happens type of things. I think we should kind of know better as fans than to throw out the choker and risers and stuff like that, because it does in some cases, sure, but in a lot of cases it's just literally small samples and shit happens. That's literally kind of it.
Yeah. But a theme that we talked about for a lot of these teams, in order for them to win their series, they needed their stars to show up.
They did.
Exactly what happened with the Blue Jays. Their superstar showed up.
A lot of players that they rely on regularly, even not just their stars, like Dalton Varsho was ridiculous. That he was so good in this series.
Miles Straw came up clutch a couple times.
Miles Straw is the most random, it doesn't even make sense, but it works.
I love him,
who
man.
gives a fuck?
I mean, you remember what happened back when he was on Cleveland at Yankee Stadium, right?
I do, and you know what?
When he
motherfuckers don't forget.
He
Motherfuckers don't forget.
He backed it up, so
hey, they don't forget, man. They don't forget. They don't forget. This series was a battle of two stars. Like, Vlad and Judge were just going at it. Toronto's pitching was also, like, a lot better than you would have expected. Really, the only thing that didn't really go their way was Shane Bieber. He just did not have a good start.
Not at all. He was getting shelled.
He was not good. It wasn't like...
And, well, the stat sheet won't show, like, he gave up a ton of runs or anything, which, I mean, to be fair, he didn't. It's just... In those times, how many barrels was it? It was a lot.
I don't know the amount of barrels, but they were hitting him hard, and you could see it. Even I didn't have the game feed out because I was watching with my friend, but you could tell they were hitting him quite hard. A lot of balls in the air, and this is the thing with Shane Bieber coming into that. It's like you feel, I don't know about you, I felt kind of conflicted about him against the Yankees because yes, he has been a very good ground ball pitcher this year, and generally throughout his even before he was pretty solid at inducing ground balls, but he also, since he came back, he's given up a decent amount of home runs too since he's come back from his injury. Home runs per 9 in the regular season coming into it were just under 2 or just under 1.8. Now, albeit he didn't actually give up any home runs in his start, but it was a lot of really hard contact.
It was 8 barrels for Bieber. I just checked.
And what was it? 2 1/3, 2 2/3?
Yeah.
You didn't get out of
2 2 2/3.
Yeah, that's not great.
So people were definitely saying, "Oh, keep him in," and this way, I think if Shane Bieber had stayed in the game, I think what would have happened was he would have given up some of the runs, and they would have still came back because they were just swinging a good bat. They didn't, a lot of people like to say Schneider makes some bad decisions. I don't think this was that bad of one because the runs were going to come the way it was going.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't... Yeah, no. That was the thing where it's if you were saying that they should have left Bieber in, it has nothing to do with how good he was pitching because he wasn't pitching very well. They were seeing him very well. They were hitting him well. It more so probably had to do with the fact that you probably just wanted to save some of your pen just in case there was a game 4 in this bullpen game, which I understand. I wouldn't agree fully. I think... I wouldn't fully agree with it because at the end of the day, you are managing for today, right?
Yeah. Also, I want to point out that one thing that made this Blue Jays team so good in the season is the fact they're the best fielding team.
Yes.
Their defense is one of the main reasons they lost that game.
They did. I don't what was the error count? Was it 3 or 4 or something like that? It was bad.
Yeah, it was, let me
it was only...
check.
Okay, it was only 2. But there were some other
pretty... was the 2?
There was some other bad misplays that I don't think... They probably weren't scored as errors.
Yeah, but they were bad defensive plays. I mean, you got the one that IKF made in the first that led to a run because the inning kept going.
Then there was the
Barger one, which is just awful.
There was the Santander one, which, albeit as a...
Oh, when he dove for... Yeah, that's not an error, but...
Yeah, that's not an error, but it's a pretty
play.
bad misplay. It's a pretty bad misplay on the ball, which... I don't know about you. I'm not as mad at that one because you kind of come to expect those kind of things with Santander in the field. That's just kind of a thing.
You kind
of know what you're getting when you put him out there.
It's just that route was just god awful.
Oh, it was really bad. I'm not saying it wasn't.
That was one of the worst defensive plays I've ever seen. That doesn't count as an error.
Mm-hmm. It was really bad.
And again, I'm not saying that I expected him to just kind of, be like a guy like Varsho or Straw and just, teleport to the ball and catch it.
Obviously, you can't. Not everyone is like that.
But it would have been nice where if he laid out, it was because, it was just out of reach, not because he took a bad route. Because that's just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. But at the end of the day, Santander's here for his bat and haven't seen that quite yet. So hopefully, he can heat up for the Jays in the ALCS.
Yeah, that would be a big boost.
They could really use that.
Yeah, that would be a big boost.
But we'll talk more about that when we preview that series.
We will. Do you have anything else you want to say about this series?
No, I think that's good. I think we can move on to, I guess, we could just finish off the AL here.
All right, Seattle and Detroit. What a series. What a fucking ending, man. Oh my God.
I mean, they recreated the movie Sleepless in Seattle, except instead of a romance movie, it was just baseball.
It was a walk-off. That crowd, Did you hear how loud that crowd was when that hit got off?
Unbelievable.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous, man.
But yeah, the Mariners, I mean, that game was just, I don't know. It was, I don't know if I want to call it the best worst game of all time or the worst best game of all time, because there were times where it's like, my goodness, how are you straining these runners? Just get a single hit, you know what I mean?
They were getting
Just lay a bunt down, do
Detroit kept
something.
getting out of it, and they kept getting double plays
Yeah.
and everything. It was not looking good for Seattle after game one because they lost game one against. I can't remember who started game one. I think it was like did they run a bullpen game in game one?
Wasn't it Melton?
Yeah, I think it was actually. Now you're saying that. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, they. Yeah, it was Melton. It was Melton. He went 4 innings.
Yeah, I remember we were having that conversation in the preview of who gets the bump, because obviously Screwball wasn't going to be pitching it, and Melton's the guy that I threw out. So
yeah, he went out there. He threw 57 pitches. He went 4 innings. Detroit won that one in extras as well. They won that in 11. It did not look good for Seattle after that because they had to go up against Skubal in game 2, who obviously everyone knows how good Tarek Skubal is, right?
Yeah.
And not only did they win that game, Jorge Polanco homered off of him twice. Jorge Polanco. Not Kyle Raleigh, not Eugenio Suarez, not Julio Rodriguez, not Randy, not even Josh Naylor. Jorge Polanco took him deep twice.
Yeah.
And they barely managed to scrape by and win that. Julio had a massive double in the 8th inning. Him and Kyle Raleigh back-to-back doubles ended up scoring that. I was electric when that happened. That was just a big moment. I was getting hype. I was holy fuck.
Polanco this postseason has 4 hits. 2 of them are homers, and
2 of them are homers. One is a game winning. One's a series winner. Like,
yeah,
he's having a series, man.
But yeah, it comes down to, I guess, what happened here was the fact that the Tigers' offense just couldn't get anything going for the most part.
They
I mean, you had Kerry Carpenter, who was great. He was the light for the heartbeat of that team. Obviously, Baez had a big home run, but really the offense struggled. I mean, Riley Green was not good.
Yeah.
Torkelson wasn't good. Glaber wasn't great. Like, nobody really stepped up. And the one thing that really, basically tells how this has been going for Detroit in his last 5 starts, Scubal's, dating back to the regular season. He pitched 32 2/3 innings, gave up 6 runs, struck out 54 batters. Do you know what the Tigers' record was in those games?
Okay, so this includes the playoff ones, right?
Yeah.
So we know they got the win against Cleveland. They got the 2 losses, Seattle. So that means 2 regular season
53 strikeouts. My bad, not 54.
I'm gonna go. So it was how many starts? 5.
Yeah.
1 and 4, 2 and 3. It's gonna be one of those. I'm going to go 1 and 4.
You would be correct.
Wow.
That's
tough, man, because
that's what we see from Paul Skeens.
As a starting pitcher, Skubal, I don't think he could have possibly pitched any better than he did in any of the games, right? In game 5, he went 6 innings. He allowed just 2 hits, didn't walk a single batter, and struck out 13. In game 2, he went 7 innings, allowed just 2 runs, struck out 9, 5 hits, walked 1 batter. And, you can't ask for too much more from your starting pitcher, right?
Yeah.
This is, at worst, the second best starter in baseball. It's him or Paul Skeens, whoever you want for 1. The other one is 2. You can't ask for much better from him, right? It's not like he had a shitter start, gave up 6 runs, 5 runs, something like that, got pulled in the 3rd or 4th inning. And then it's 4 runs wasn't enough. Because at that point, it's the starter could have pitched better. He allowed 3 runs this whole series, and they lost both of his starts. The Tigers' offense, outside of Game 4, they weren't hitting a thing. They were not hitting a thing. They were letting the Mariners pitching staff just completely walk all over them. And like you said, a lot of guys for them were not good. Zach McKinstry was not good at all, and this is a guy who was an all-star for them. His OPS in the series started with a 4. Riley Green, you mentioned, he was not very good at all. Baez had a pretty good series, but even Glaber Torres wasn't that great. His OPS was just under 700. Torkelson wasn't good. A lot of guys that, we expect them to contribute were not good. I know that Kerry Carpenter's series, numbers for the series look very good. Coming into Game 5, he was hitting 185. His OPS was like in the 640 or so coming into Game 5.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, when it mattered the most in the winner-take-all game, he showed up.
Did the
other guys? No,
he did.
But,
he did. I'm not saying it's just him.
No,
but
I know.
Like,
I know. I was
in those first
four
4 games, especially, like, no one whole series pretty much is doing anything, right? And Detroit they put themselves in very good positions to win by winning Game 1. You have Skubal going in Game 2. You have a chance to really not step on their throats and win the series, but you have a chance to 2-0 is tough, right? I think teams are like 82-10, I think, when they go up 2-0. Actually, I think it's more than that now. I know when the Brewers went up 2-0, they flashed on the broadcast, it was 80-10. If I'm counting right, that's now that would be 83-10 if I'm counting right. And then you had Skubal going in Game 5 against George Kirby, right? Now, George Kirby we know is good, but he was very up and down in the regular season. And again, you can't give yourself a much better chance than Tarek Skubal, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I thought Kirby pitched,
Oh, he
great,
did. He did. He pitched incredible.
And yeah, so definitely I guess, I want to say he matched Skubal. I mean, he basically canceled out, not basically, he did cancel out what Skubal did.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously coming in for Skubal is your guy.
That's Kyle. That is my guy. That is my guy.
Your right-handed guy.
That my right-handed guy. Yeah, the first Nick Schizo moment of the podcast. My guy, and then he comes in. He gives up. I think it was the tying run because I think Seattle or I think Detroit had taken the lead by that point. He gives up the tying run.
Yes.
That's a rough one, especially considering how ridiculous he was down the stretch for Detroit. He was ridiculous for them, and then it wasn't great. It wasn't great. It's not what you want. It's not what you want. Because in a game like that, you're going to kind of your highest leverage guys pretty much. I don't want to say out the gate, but you're not saving them for the 8th, 9th inning. You're going to them when you need them, right?
Yeah.
And that. Their bullpen isn't that great. But Finnegan was definitely probably higher on the pecking order. And then, man, it just wasn't, like I said, it's not what you want. It's not what you want, man. It's not what you want. It was the 4th game he pitched in that series. I think the only game he didn't pitch in was Game 3. So, obviously, like, Seattle had seen him. Seattle had been getting to him, though, this series. That was the 3rd run they scored off him in the series. He'd given up runs in Games 2 and 4 as well. He'd given up 6 hits in his 3 outings before this. So that, another thing to look at is, they were kind of hitting him pretty well before Game 5. So another thing to think about there. And then obviously, the bullpens were holding it the fuck down. The Tigers were getting every double play in the world. Starting pitchers were coming out of the bullpen. It was Game 5 was cinema, man. Game 5 was fucking cinema. I felt really good about Detroit's chances of winning that series after they had came back and won Game 4.
I thought they were gonna win after the Kerry Carpenter home run. I thought they were gonna hold on.
I don't
honestly.
blame you because that's a big. It's hard. You can't come up much bigger than that. A go-ahead home run. And what was it? The 6th inning.
Yes.
Is that what it was? The 6th.
Yes.
You can't come up much bigger than that. You can't.
No, but
you really can't.
Look, I mean,
he got on base 6 times that game. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I mean, 4 for 46. The other hitters combined for if you take out Carpenter.
That's just awful, man.
But yeah, shout out Leo Rivas coming in off the bench, tying up the game on his birthday.
That's a big one, man. For your birthday, we're gonna give you a massive spot in the biggest game of your life.
Yeah. Also, you know what we learned from that series as well.
What did we learn?
Adam Amin, great commentator. Pierzynski and Wainwright, I think it's time to find a new job.
Dude, listen, did you hear, especially in Game, I wasn't listening to the broadcast as much in some of the other ones, paying attention to what they were saying. In Game 5, they wouldn't shut up about the bunt and how much this team has to bunt, this team has to bunt, this team has to bunt.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, it's like, dude, what are you talking about?
My favorite running joke was Wainwright saying, "Oh, he's going slider here," and then it's a fastball. Oh, he's going slider here. It's another fastball. All right, he's going to another fastball here, slider. Like just absolutely getting it wrong every time, and then trying to predict it. Like, oh, it
Listen,
was bad.
listen. I'm never gonna rag on them for any or like anyone for like getting baseball predictions wrong or sports predictions in general because obviously ridiculous.
Right.
But listen, I was not trying to listen to that broadcast. I can't lie. I was not trying to listen to that broadcast anymore.
Yeah.
I really was not.
Adam Levine's great at his job. I will say that. I think he's a fantastic one. A fantastic play-by-play guy.
He was.
Does basketball too.
He was
You know,
incredible. Oh my
you
goodness,
know
Valentine!
yeah, yeah.
I didn't
Whenever
actually.
somebody,
I
I've
didn't
seen
know
so
that
many
until
people ask,
I didn't know that until after Game 5 that was the same guy. I was like, oh,
yeah,
fuck.
he's been the Cubs guy or the not Cubs, the Bulls guy for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't tune into Bulls games, so I don't like. I didn't know he was their
yeah,
commentator.
but
In
oh my
basketball.
goodness, Valley, one of the greatest calls
That's elite.
ever.
That's an elite call. That's an elite call. He was
Yeah,
great. He was truly really good. I really enjoyed
well,
listening
we'll
to
add
him.
it in here.
With
I had that ready.
yeah,
I had that on.
had that on the soundboard is crazy cakes,
Yeah.
bro. That's insane, man. But yeah, man. Oh my god, that's yeah. No, he was really fun to listen to. I really enjoyed him, but Wayno and Pierzynski, respectfully, I was not trying to listen to them anymore.
And it just goes to show that not always is it where, former players make great analysts. So that just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're going to be great in the booth.
Yeah, there's some pretty other big examples. Like John Smoltz is a big one. That guy is, with all due respect, I'm not trying to listen to John Smoltz. Joe Davis carries that broadcast booth whenever they're together because they are matched up a lot of times. I know this postseason they were commentating the Jays-Yankee series together, but I think a lot of previous times in the postseason they have been too. Listen, I'm here for Joe Davis. I'm really not trying to listen to John Smoltz. With all due respect, absolute legend for the game, but I'm really not trying to listen to him.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite.
Have you been listening to the games on this, like watching on Sportsnet or the Fox feed?
That's how I've been getting all of them. I don't even know how to access the Fox feed, to be honest with you.
Oh, I mean, if you have cable, Fox is on it, but
Oh, I don't have cable. I just access through Sportsnet app and shit. That's how I've been watching every single one of these games. I found out that the playoff games are blacked out on MLB TV, which is ridiculous. Like no matter, like it doesn't matter what team, they're all blacked out. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's insane. I went there for like first instinct because that's how I watched every other not Jays team this year. I kind of forgot that the rest of the playoff games are still going to be on Sportsnet, and then they all say they're blacked out, and I'm like, what the hell? What do you mean you're blacked out? Like you pay for this service, and you pay however.
Yeah.
You pay this much for the service, and you're not number one. Your local teams are blacked out anyways, which I still think is a little whack. And then you can't watch playoff games, like the biggest games of the year, the games that people want to watch the most. Can't watch them? That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The way I think about it, if you're buying, like, I understand that it should, like, the local markets control the rights and whatever, like, how it works, whatever, but it's just, someone buying MLB TV, you would probably want to watch your own games on there, which is part of the reason why you're buying it.
You would. You absolutely would. You absolutely would.
Yeah, whatever.
There's one thing I want to talk about, though, about Seattle before we go into whatever the next series we talk about is. Their offense, I know Detroit wasn't hitting. Seattle, to be honest, they weren't hitting that much either. They kind of just scraped by Detroit. And I don't even just say that because they won in 15 extra innings in the winner-take-all game. They weren't hitting very much either. Like, outside of Kyle Raleigh, sure, certain guys had, like, big hits. Like, Julio had a big double in Game 2 that gave him the lead in the 8th. He wasn't hitting very much all series. Suarez was... Oh, boy. He was not good. Naylor wasn't too great either. He wasn't getting on base. Rosarena wasn't doing too hot. Polanco had the 2 big home runs in Game 2, and obviously the walk-off to win the game. But overall for the series, like, he wasn't doing as much. Like over a longer series, that you might feel that a little bit more. And like, yeah, a lot of their players were struggling too. Kyle Raleigh, though, how about him hitting damn near 400 this series?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the bright spot of that lineup.
It is.
For obvious reasons throughout the regular season, and now we're seeing in the postseason as well. yeah, I mean, aside from Cal though, the offense didn't impress me.
It,
Uh,
I can't say it did.
Julio obviously great down the stretch, but he's kind of been a bit cold. And the one that's really, I guess, interesting to point out is Suarez.
Yep,
Because I remember going over how he's a very streaky player. Like,
he
he'll
is.
go, 4 games in a row with a home run and be, just look unstoppable. And then he'll go like 8 straight games without even
Mhm.
getting a hit. Stuff like that. And we saw that. I mean, Suarez hit 0.95 in that entire series, which
His OPS
in
this
total
series was
is
lower
two
than
hits.
his OPS this series was 374. That was lower than Kyle Riley's batting average this series.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. But if he heats up in the next round, all's forgiven. But
All is forgiven. Yeah,
yeah,
all would be forgiven. I don't speak that into existence, but all would be
no, I hope
forgiven in that
not.
case. But like
Also,
we've also. I just want to say one more thing on Suarez. We've broken down
yeah,
how much of a streaky hitter he is. Like when he got to Seattle, you
yes,
remember it was the first like 2-3 weeks he was really struggling, and then he had a 2 week, 3 week stretch, whatever. Where he was really hot, and he was this is Suarez again, and then he got cold again coming into the playoffs, and he, albeit it's 5 games, he has struggled so far in the playoffs. He has struggled. He's cold again.
yeah,
It's rough. It's a rough
it
one.
is. But again, that's the thing with small sample sizes. Obviously, you don't want to see him go 2 for 22 or 2 for 21 rather.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's a new series, clean slate. Your team advanced. You can breathe easier. It's not like he cost them the series, so
Mm-hmm.
he has that going for him.
Yeah, you don't have to
Um,
go home and think, fuck, like, I could have played so much better and we would have. You can just go next. You can just go next.
yeah.
Do we have anything
Um,
else we want to talk about in regards to the series?
no, I was just gonna say that Naylor had a pretty big stolen base that led to a run in that
He
game
did.
too. We
He
talked
did.
about his aggressive base
Stolen
stealing, and
base
he came up big
demon.
there.
Stolen base demon Josh Naylor. Like, I mean, we've talked about this, like, so much about how, like, weird this is. Stolen base demon. Absolute demon on the bases. Despite being third percentile sprint speed. Like, what's even going on? What's even happening anymore? Shout out Josh Naylor,
Yeah.
man. Shout out Josh Naylor. All right, yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about in regards to the series, or
No, I think we took care of
we'll
that.
move on?
So we can move
We'll
to
go to
let's go Phillies Dodgers because that was the first one that ended.
this. Was another ending, man.
That was a
That was
painful one.
oh
We'll
god.
obviously get to that, but so to start it off, I mean, the Dodgers were all over them.
They were.
I mean, 2-0. Yes, the games were close for sure.
This was a
But
This is a much
they lost
closer
both at
series than it
home.
looked.
Yes, but they lost at home, and that's just it's tough because the Phillies are known to have one of the greatest atmospheres in sports when they're in the playoffs, and not even just the playoffs. Their regular season atmosphere is also very good.
It's ridiculous,
Don't
and we've
get that,
seen some ridiculous moments in this ballpark. Like, you remember the Rhys Hoskins home run against the Braves when he slams the bat down. How ridiculous that crowd was.
Spike, yeah.
Um,
The Harper to send them to the NL or to the World Series rather in the NLCS off
the
Suarez.
swing of his life.
Again, why Joe Davis is just
The GOAT.
so good at what
Absolute
he does.
king, bro. Shout out Joe Davis. Game 1, our boy was a talking point in game 1. Our boy Teoscar had the ball where it's like in MLB The Show when you're controlling the guy and he has the animation where he just runs over the ball. Kind of.
Yeah.
He didn't run over it, but he just stopped going for it, and he very easily, I think, could have just like kept going and like backhanded it and got it in, and that led to some extra bases that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And everyone was posting it. They're like, Teoscar, what are you doing? And then, of course, later in the game, he hits a fucking go-ahead 3-run homer.
That's the thing with Teoscar. It's similar to what we were talking about with Santander. You know you're not there. You're not putting him in there for the glove. You're getting him for his bat. And
it's frustrating to watch when it happens.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, when you put him in there, you know what. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into when you put him out there. Even if it is at times it can be frustrating.
I mean, as long as he does what he does, makes up for it, hits that home run and wins it for them, basically. So.
And it's a
as
thing
long
that,
as he's doing that, you can live with it.
And it's a thing that like Loki was a struggle in the regular season because he regressed a lot from the year before. So to have him like I think he had a 2 home run game I can't remember if it was 2 home run game, but he was really good in the wild card series. And then he carries that over into game 1, hits the massive home run, wins them the game. There's something we got to talk about. Game 2, right? Number 1,
Yeah.
Blake Snell and Luzardo, ridiculously good pitching duel. The Dodgers, they're up 4-0 at one point. The Phillies get one back in the 8th. The 9th inning, let's go through this because I was watching this very, very attentively, right?
Yeah.
They bring in Blake Trinan to pitch, right? The first 2 batters reach base, a single by Alec Boehm and a JT Ramiro double. All of a sudden, the tying run is up, and Nick Castellanos. He doubles into left field. He makes a very ballsy play, by the way, going for second base. I don't know if you were watching that. That was really ballsy by him to go in advance, but he made it, and that's...
Yes.
They never ask how.
Nope.
And they bring in Alex Vesia, right? And then a very interesting thing happens is Bryson Stott... Now, listen. I did not... Before it happened, I could see it coming, and I was like, you better not bunt here. It's not a good move here. He bunted, and he laid down. Admittedly, it was a bad bunt. It wasn't the type of bunt you want, but there was a lot of things that went wrong here. Number 1, if you're going to bunt, you should have pinch ran for Castellanos. Number 2, you can't bunt it to third, and, Number 3, you shouldn't have been bunting in the first place. You have a man on second base. You have 0 outs. That is the tying run.
I think they ran through their bench though at that point. I don't know if they had anybody else because Bader wasn't able to pinch run.
I'm not even saying for pinch running. I'm just saying I don't think you should have.
Oh.
Well, no, because they brought in Bader. They brought in Weston Wilson to pinch run for Bader.
Oh, I thought. Right, you're right. Yeah, but because that's only because Bader literally can't run.
I know.
Because I think it's a hamstring. Yeah, so couldn't.
No,
I'm just saying because you said pinch run Castellanos, but their hands were tied there.
What I'm getting at is that they should not have bunted in the first place, right?
Oh no, I agree, and that's kind of when you're giving away outs. But
because the thing is, with Castellanos especially, if it's a speed demon on second base, I can maybe get behind it depending on who's up. There are some things to think about with this. All right, Stott is not good against lefties. I get it. He was also really hot coming into the postseason. He had like a 140-something WRC plus in September, right? He was hot coming into the series. There was 0 outs, and you probably knew that Bader was going to pinch hit the next batter anyways. I can't remember if he was on deck. I can't remember if he was or if they called whoever was on deck back before Bader came in. I can't remember. You probably you knew he was going to come in next anyways. Bader was really good for them with the bat.
Yeah.
So why are you giving them even, let's say...
That's the thing. It wasn't like it was a double play ball, so you had to advance the runner to avoid a double play and whatever. That wasn't the case.
Most balls in play that Stott probably would have hit. Stott doesn't even strike out very much against lefties. It's a little bit higher than against righties, but it's still a really good strikeout rate that he runs against lefties. Most balls in play are probably going to be equally as valuable, or you might even get one more valuable. He might poke one to the outfield. He might hit one down the line by mistake. Right? It happens. Lefty crime. We saw Ryan McMahon go deep off a lefty, and he's like a 44, I think, WRC plus against lefties in the regular season. It can happen. Especially with a more contact-oriented guy like Stott. It can happen. You might get that same result from a swing anyways, but you can get more than that. You are not punting and giving them a free out. Let's assume even they don't throw him out at second, and they just get the out at first, and Castellanos stays at second. Or sorry, the out at third, excuse me. Castellanos stays at second, and they get the out at first.
Yeah.
That is more valuable than what happened. And I understand you can't fully judge on what happened. It's process at the end of the day. But a lot of the batted balls that you might have gotten, that you had a decent chance to get as well, might I add, are more valuable than what you ideally wanted from a bunt anyways. And Bader, the very next hitter, now again, I just said you can't judge it based on what happened after. He gets the base hit, and then there's a force out, and there's a ground out, and then there's another ground out. So, quite literally, that bunt ended up losing them the game. Right?
Yeah. It was, I think Jimmy Rollins was breaking it down after the game, and he was saying how with the Castellanos thing, how on, before, like, when they were doing the wheel play, how Betts was, like, so far off, right? Like, he was so far towards third. Castellanos missed an opportunity to get another, like, 5-6 steps of a lead. He would have been safe.
That's another
if he
thing.
Did that.
That's another thing.
It was just not being heads up and not being a good base runner rather than just not being fast.
He got a really bad jump. And it doesn't help that he's not fast, but you can't not get a good jump. At that point, you should have gone back. Again, I don't think they should have been bunting in the first place. I think it's just
You're
a
right.
bad move to just feed them it out. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, that was a really tough one. It like frustrated. Like I wasn't pulling for either team really, but it was a really frustrating watch. Granted, I'm a massive bunt hater. For anyone who has not gathered, I am a sack bunt hater. I'm the leader of the sack bunt hate club. Sack bunt thumbs down, right? That's me. So I was just like, man, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, what would have happened anyways is you have a man on third, one out. You have a slow runner on third base. A sack fly might not even score the guy. They're either going to play infield and in which case, if you hit a ground ball right to someone, he's not scoring anyways, even if they have to go to the left or right very quickly. Or they intentionally walk the next guy and they have a double play. And then you have a chance to just get cooked anyways, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't great. It wasn't a very good play. I still don't like the play. I didn't like it when it happened. I don't like it after. Game 3, they came back 1. Also, Ranger Suarez didn't start the series. I know he came out of the pen and pitched like 5 innings in Game 3. They like treated it as like a pseudo opener. I still don't understand why he wasn't starting. Not that it really hurt them, to be honest, because he probably would have started Game 3 anyways.
Yeah, I mean Nola was also very good that game,
He
so
was.
I thought he
He
was going to
was.
stay in a bit longer. But obviously,
He
I mean
was.
Ranger Suarez did the job,
It was very
and so did
interesting.
their offense.
It ended up working out. I'm still going to stand on it was a very poor managerial decision and not just have Rangers start a game, but you can't complain much because I mean I don't really think it would have changed anything.
I mean, they had 5 out of the 9 starter, like in terms of batters, get multiple hits that game. They showed up, and that's why they won that.
They
I
did.
mean, they got to Yamamoto.
Schwarber had 2 home runs. Realmuto took him deep too, or he didn't take. It wasn't. Yamamoto
Oh, that
took
first
deep,
home run was just destroyed out of the stadium.
It was ridiculous, man.
That was beautiful. I saw someone say that they just like want to know what it's like to be able to hit a ball like that, and I couldn't agree more. Can you just imagine like doing that in a big game, just crushing one like that,
and just watching it just go?
My
I
God,
agree.
like
I want to know what it's like to hit a ball like that. Like I agree. Whoever said that, shout out to you. Go.
But yeah, I mean, they got to Yamamoto, who is an incredible pitcher, and obviously they got a lot of runs off Kershaw, but at that point, it was looking like they were going to hold on to that lead because the Dodgers' offense wasn't looking good. But obviously, you can never count their offense out.
You never
because
can.
of how great it
Just
is.
yeah.
Although, it's just, at that point, it looked like the Phillies were going to win, and then Kershaw came in, and then it's one of those things where, again, you can look at it and see he's not the best in the postseason. Obviously, with a guy like Kershaw, much greater sample size than your average player.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of when they put Kershaw in, he gave up some runs. It's like, all right, they're just kind of just focus on the next game. They're still up in the series.
Exactly.
And
then we saw what happened. Christopher Sanchez started Game 4 up against Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah.
Roki Sasaki, by the way, out of the bullpen, has been kind of ridiculous.
He is unbelievable. I remember when people were saying like, oh, he's got to work, like, he's done for the season because his numbers in the minor leagues, and it's like, oh, we'll work on it next year or whatever.
Well,
he's a prospect anyway.
You remember how low his velo was in his rehab starts? He was like
everything
92,
was just dropping, and then he comes out in the postseason as a relief pitcher, and he looks literally untouchable.
He's been ridiculous, and it's honestly it's kind of exactly what the Dodgers needed, because like we've talked about, a big weakness for them is their bullpen.
Weak spot.
And they
That's
come
the
in
biggest weak spot.
Literally, like you said, untouchable. Nobody can touch this guy. He is exactly what they needed in that bullpen. And if he can continue to keep it up throughout the rest of the postseason, things are gonna look so much better for the Dodgers.
The Dodgers bullpen in 20 innings, 20 and a third innings in this postseason, 5.75 ERA, or actually that's since 4.91 in the postseason, I believe.
Damn.
So definitely just shows, how poor they've been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, yeah, 575 and 20 and a third.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, they needed a guy that they can count on in these big innings and shut guys down, and they found him, and he was with them the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Game 4, the big pitching matchup. Both starters were ridiculously good, by the way. They were incredible. And then we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. It's time. We got to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's a tough play. That's a really tough one. That's a tough one.
Look. I mean, it's just, I don't want to say too much because everything's already been said. People have already said what they have to say, and it's obvious. You watch it, obviously the play's to first. You're just beating, you're just milking a dead cow, I guess, as they say, beating a dead horse. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, it's tough. Obviously, when you're in that moment, you can't slow everything down. You can't stop and say, should I go to first or should I go home? You have to do it instantly. You have to act.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so unfortunate, though. I feel
That's a tough one.
awful for
I feel
him.
for the guy. I feel for the guy. It's a tough one. It was the second time in MLB history that a team advanced, like a season series, like a playoff series ended on a walk-off error.
Yeah.
We know what the first one was. We know what the first one was.
The Donaldson dash.
Yup. We know what the first one was.
A lot of people seemingly forgot about it.
There, you saw the tweet saying
out,
that this was the first one, and then that got not only was there the fact check note on it, there was a big quote tweet, and it was like, I think you're forgetting something, and they posted it, right? Yeah, obviously
this one was worse because that was more of a heads-up play by Donaldson rather than, that much of a...
It was.
I'm not saying they played it perfectly, but obviously I would say the one that just happened with Kirkering was definitely, worse.
It was definitely worse.
That's the thing. I was talking to a fan, like a friend of mine who's a Phillies fan, and we were just talking, like, at that point, you'd rather just have had him, like, hit a grand slam or something, because then it's like, yeah, whatever, there's nothing you can do. That was just heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's tough. I could not imagine.
Their season ended on that. Like, imagine watching 162 games and then 3 postseason games plus like 10 and 2/3 innings or whatever, just for the season to end like that. Like, that is just, man.
It's tough,
it's brutal. The postseason could be a very cruel place.
It's brutal out here, man. It is brutal.
Word to Olivia Rodrigo.
Word to banger song, by the way. It's brutal out here. We got anything else we want to say about the series, or are we ready to go to the last series, the one that just ended?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, literally just ended.
This point probably ended like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
Brewers Cubs. This was a series. Now, this game 1, it starts off. Matthew Boyd is on the bump. I'm pretty sure it was like a day short rest, I think. But even so, he's the guy that they wanted. Within 6 pitches, it was 2-0 Milwaukee. They hit 3 doubles to start the game, and it's instantly 2-0. Boyd did not get out of the first inning in this game. He did not have it. They were...
no, he did not. That's putting it lightly. I mean, he was responsible. I mean, I don't think it was all earned runs, right? But...
there was an error, but even so, like, even regardless of the error or not, he just didn't have it regardless.
Up 6 runs, and
like if it didn't happen in the first, it was gonna happen. It was gonna happen in the second, like, or third. It was gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Soroka is at that point you're already down by so much. It's like, obviously you don't want to give up more, but it was pretty much known that it was probably going to be 1-0 Milwaukee by the end of that one.
Yeah,
at that point
it's tough. You're down pretty quick. The Cubs, they got on the board first. Michael Busch hit a leadoff homer, and you're thinking, fuck yeah, good start for the Cubs. And then, tough inning. You're down 9-1 by the end of the second. It's like, damn, how are we going to come back from this? And they hit a couple home runs, but it was 9-3. What you're trying to do, you're trying to turn the page, go next. Game 2, it starts off a really good start again for the Cubs. Seiya Suzuki, first inning, 3-run bomb. And then again for the Brewers, they match them, or they answer back. The Cubs, for every punch the Cubs threw in the series, the Brewers seemingly punched right back, and they punched harder. Andrew Vaughn
Andrew
hits the big
Vaughn
home
said,
run.
"Anything you can do, I can do."
I can do better.
Exactly.
Contreras hits the home run, and then Jackson Chourio hits what ultimately ended up really just. It was the fourth inning. It kind of felt like the dagger, but
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing when you have a team like the Brewers with their bullpen. They're able to shut you down.
and that is something that we did mention. Like I know I picked the Cubs to win
Yeah.
the series, but we talked about how ridiculously good this Brewers pitching staff is. Their rotation is really good.
Yeah.
Their bullpen is insane.
I don't even hate looking back. I don't even hate my prediction because at the end of the day, they failed because the things that I was confident, or not necessarily confident, but thinking that would happen didn't. Like I thought Hap would be better than he was. I thought Dansby would be better than he was.
Yeah.
So I still think the process for the pick was there.
Absolutely. Like the Brewers pitching staff is just ridiculous, and that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
They also they're one of the best teams in the league at getting on base, and one of the things that I know we looked at was like their low contact versus the Cubs defense. Like that's obviously in the Cubs' favor, but the Brewers were just getting on, man. They were just on the bases. It felt like the entire time they were getting hits. It didn't feel like they were drawing a ridiculous amount of walks, but they were. It doesn't. At the end of the day, you're getting on base. It's like they say in Moneyball, because he gets on base.
Yeah.
And they went down 2-0, and it did not look for the good for the Cubs because it looked kind of like the Jays Yankees one where like they mopped the floor with them the first two games. They mopped the floor with them. They cooked them, and then the Cubs, they get it back. Another big first inning for the Cubs. They scored 4 runs in the first in Game 4. That was all they needed to win the game. They won 4-3. And then Game 4, they smoke them 6-0. Matt Boyd kind of redeemed himself. He didn't allow a run in this game. And then the bullpen, they came and they shut it down. The bullpen allowed a whole 2 base runners.
Yeah, I mean, you had the Ian Happ home run with the 3-run shot.
To start the game.
You had Kyle Tucker hitting when you're thinking like, okay, these guys are getting hot.
You had Michael Busch, again, he was really good all series.
Oh, yeah.
He was so good all series, man. He was nuts. I think felt like he hit a home run every single at bat this series. Like that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Felt like he hit like a million.
And the thing is, in Game 5, it was the same thing. Another first inning run of a team getting on the board. This time it was the Brewers that strike first.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like that's basically all they needed. Obviously, they needed more, but the Cubs only scored 1 run, so it's not like they had to do a lot on offense to win this game. It sucks. You got 4 hits the entire game. Kelly, Suzuki, Horner, and Bush. Tucker 0 for 4 in the biggest game of the year. Happ 0 for 4 in the biggest game of the year. PCA 0 for 3 with another strikeout. Obviously, 1 strikeout's not the worst thing.
0 for 3 for Dansby too. Like ugh.
Matt Shaw 0 for 2. It's just they couldn't hit.
They couldn't.
And obviously credit to the pitching staff for the Brewers, but I mean when you're paying these guys big money, like you're paying Kyle Tucker, he's due for a big contract this offseason, this winter.
He is.
And that's the showing he puts up. It's disappointing to say the least.
It's tough. It's a tough loss for the It's a tough loss for the Chubs. Jacob Mizorowski this series, man. Ooh, he pitched twice out of the pen, and he was frying them. He came out of the bullpen very first time in was it Game 2? I think it was. Maybe it was Game 1. I can't remember what game it was. It was Game 2. He's pumping 104 right out the gate, and it's like, oh my god, how do you hit this guy? He's ridiculous.
And then when Seiya hit the home run, it's like, okay, wait a second, have they figured him out? And then
it's like they have life.
Got 2 more.
And then they did.
After that, they got 2 more hits, struck out 3 times, and didn't put any more runs up in the next 3 2/3 innings.
And they had a big spot too because they had 2 runners on, no outs in the 6th inning. I think it was. I think they had man on first and second, if I remember right. No outs in the 6th inning.
Yeah.
And it looked like, and they had like their big guys coming up. They had Hap, Tucker, like. And they didn't score. They blew it.
Too.
All 3. Those are your big boys. And Suzuki was hitting all series, all postseason. He's been really good. But that was a tough one.
Yeah, It's just the tough strikeouts there. I mean, that was really, really unfortunate.
It was a tough
That
one.
one to the one to end the that threat there by Hap. I mean, I just I don't understand
It was a tough one.
because it's just I don't know what you're like looking for there. You know what I mean?
It's tough, man. It's tough. That's a tough one. That was
Like,
one where, like, you know, you have the single, Horner gets hit by the pitch, and it's like, oh fuck, this team, like, they have life. They have the first two guys reach. You have your big boys coming up. That's one where you're feeling really confident. These are the exact type of situations that you're looking for, and against a pitching staff as good as the Brewers, you need to capitalize in these situations, and they didn't.
But it's just that whole at bat from Hap was so just disappointing. First, you know, the first pitch that was, you know, not close, called for a ball. Then you have the second one, which he also takes, but that's a sinker, literally middle. That could not be more down the middle of the plate. You take it, whatever. Probably not going to find a better one. The third pitch is a sinker outside off the plate, and he fouls it off. And then there's, you know, one that he obviously takes that was in the dirt. And here's where it really kills him. The fifth pitch, a hanging slurve. He does nothing with it.
It was bad.
87 and a half down the middle.
It was rough.
Doesn't do anything. He fouls it. And the worst part is that he strikes out looking on a pitch that's in. Not only is it fully in the strike zone, that's a solid two or 3 inches more down the middle than the one you fouled off, and you decide to take that in a 2-strike count.
It's tough.
I don't understand. That's like, I just don't understand the approach. I don't understand the adjustments he made, because clearly he didn't make any. So
yeah, clear. There wasn't much there. That's such a tough series loss too. Like, obviously, like, that at bat wasn't good. You blew that opportunity. You were down 2-0.
Yeah, obviously that at bat isn't why they lost.
Well, yeah. But it's such a tough series loss for them as a whole, because like they were down 2-0. Obviously, they battle back, and you're like, oh shit, they have the momentum.
They have
going
the momentum.
Into
They just
Milwaukee.
they won 6-0. 6-0 48 hours ago.
Right? Like, they have the big homer to tie it in the second. You have the big opportunity in the sixth to take the lead or tie the game, whatever. Well, you could have done both.
And you get 4 hits. It's just like
you blow it.
At the end of the day, you know, obviously you're facing a great pitching staff. You're not facing, you know, a guy that, or a bunch of guys that are bad. Ashby is the guy who they probably needed to tee off of if they were going to tee off of anybody that pitched in that game.
Absolutely.
But it's just, and they were getting to him, but they couldn't finish the job. They couldn't get a clutch hit. And it's just, it's really unfortunate. They had so many chances, and it's just them shooting themselves in the foot. I don't think they got beat because they were the worst team. I think they got beat because they had the worst at bats.
They did. They got cold. They got cold at the wrong times.
Worst time
Jackson
possible.
Chourio was killing them all series. Well, except for like game 5, he had a walk, and that was like it. Yeah, they were getting killed. But Andrew Vaughn, obviously, we've talked about. He had some big moments in this series. He had a home run.
Bowers
in this game.
had a home run, a great, like, you know, time to come in and do that. But yeah, I mean, they were good. For sure, the Brewers played good, and they definitely
William Contreras,
you know,
too, was really
it's not
good
like they
this series.
fluked. Yeah, they didn't fluke their way.
They didn't.
Series
They didn't. And like, we know, like, we said this before. It's like, even though we both technically picked the Cubs to win, we also were very stressing a lot. Like, hey, this is not a fucking fake Fugazi ass 96, 97, whatever win team. Like, this is a really good team. And we knew that. That's why I even said, I probably said in the last episode, I'm sure, I wouldn't be surprised the Brewers pitching staff just comes out and just wins them the series. Like, they're that good.
For sure, I do think as well that, you know, I remember I was saying, like, just because they've lost, you know, in the past means they're going to lose. It
doesn't matter. It literally, like, none of that mattered. Previous postseasons, even this regular season, does not matter. Once you come to October and you're playing in these 5-7 game series, 3 game series now we have 2, it doesn't matter. None of it matters.
Yeah.
One of the things for the Cubs too, they just don't have enough reliable pitchers, starters, bullpen. It doesn't matter. I think it says a lot that they didn't even want to bring Shoto out of the bullpen in Game 5. Like, not that it would have made a difference, but that, in theory, is, like, your 2-star right now, and they didn't want to bring him out because, like, they just do not trust him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean...
They need more reliable starting pitching. Obviously, like, Kate Horton going down doesn't help, but you have, realistically, like, 2.5 reliable pitchers, or starters. Really. Like, that's what you have. A lot of the bullpen is kind of shaky. Even if they had some pretty okay performances in this series, that bullpen is shaky. Let's put it out there, right? Let's call a spade a spade. That bullpen is very... You look at it and you don't feel too great about it, right? That is not going to get you very far in a postseason series or in a postseason run. Those are things... Starters are getting pulled so quickly in the playoffs, right? Managers are going to be a lot quicker with the hook. And even, honestly, even when certain starters are doing really good, they still kind of get pulled early. Like, Casey Mize had a really good start against Seattle, and he got pulled in, like, the 4th inning. Matt Boyd in Game 4 got pulled pretty quick, and albeit it was, I'm pretty sure it was short. No, it would have been regular rest, I guess, because they had the off day between Game 1 and 2. But he even got pulled pretty quick. Guys get pulled really quick, so you need to have a really good bullpen. That's how... Listen, when people talk about the 2015 Royals, they kind of just, like... seem to forget that team had like a super pen. Think about stuff like, you remember the 3-headed monster the Yankees used to have where it was Andrew Miller, Della Matanzas, or Aroldis Chapman?
Yeah.
If you throw that bullpen on a lot of other postseason teams, oh my god, they're dominating.
Oh, 100%.
They're dominating. Like, it's not close. Like, teams are not scoring once the starter comes out. They throw those 3, it's over. Like, it's done.
Yeah.
So, that's something that, again, albeit not a bad performance, but they just don't. I don't think they have enough pitching. That's one thing that killed, like, the Brewers' offense, and in the games they lost, the Brewers' offense killed them. You know what I mean? Like the 9 runs, the 7. Even this game was only 3, but you give 3 homers, like, and what do we say rules the postseason, Ethan? What do we say?
Home runs.
Home runs, and it continues to be proven true.
Yeah.
It continues to be proven true.
So, now do you want to go to the...
I think we're ready for the CS.
All right, we could start it off here with the National League because...
This is what we were just talking about. This is where we were. Dodgers and Brewers.
So, first things first. Will the Brewers get revenge for 2018?
2018, that's the first thing. This is the first time they've... I think that was the last time they won a playoff series, was the division series that year, right? Because I don't think they... I'm pretty sure since they've lost all their postseason series, I think, right? Because they've won the division a bunch of times. I don't think they've won a series, have they?
I'm not sure.
I don't think did they win a series in 19? I don't remember. I don't think they did.
Let's see.
Oh no, because they played the Nationals in the wild card game that year.
Oh my goodness!
And they lost. Yeah. That's right. That was the Trent Grisham runs over the ball. Fucking MLB the show.
Because
MLB the show AI.
That is true.
He got MLB the show animation glitched. Oh, when he botches it, bro. You're exactly right.
Yeah. So
these are both really good championship series.
They lost in So in after 2018, they lost the wild card game, obviously. Then they got swept in 2020 in the shortened season.
I think that
by the Dodgers.
That was the Dodgers too. Yeah.
Then they lost the NLDS against Atlanta in 21, the year that Atlanta won. And then they missed the playoffs in 22, got swept again, this time by Arizona. And obviously, you remember what happened with the Mets. Yep. So since the Dodgers series, they've won 2 postseason games.
Yeah, that's not great. Who did they beat that year? Was it the Rockies? Is that who they played?
In which?
The 2018, the DS. Did they play the Rockies that year? Was that who they beat?
I don't know. Let's see.
Can't remember. I want to say it was the Rockies. I think.
Yes, it was.
It was?
Yes, because that was when they won the game. Oh yeah, that's when they won against the Cubs, right? Mm-hmm. That 13-inning game. Where,
the last time that the Brewers won a postseason series, we were talking about the crazy left side of the infield of Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story. That middle of the infield has not been together since 2019.
Dude,
Uh,
Tony Walters with the
Bro,
winning RBI
dude, I
there
remember
of
watching
Hendrick.
that shit, man. What a
I
time,
know.
Tony Walters, man. What a time. Um, but anyways, these are some fantastic teams. The Dodgers are ridiculous. They have probably the best lineup of any team that's left in the playoffs, I'd say. Um, Obviously, they have multiple future Hall of Famers. Their starting rotation is nuts. The Brewers have a really good offense too. They get on base a lot. They score a lot of runs. They have a ridiculously good pitching staff as well. If they might not be able to quite match the Dodgers in the rotation, they're going to fuck their bullpen. Like their bullpen is so much better than the Dodgers. They might match them overall as a pitching staff. I have a feeling the Dodgers are going to be heavy favorites in the series. I feel like,
Yes.
and I probably would end up picking them too, but this is going to be, I think, a lot closer of a series than people realize. Let's start with some things that we really need to look at. I'm going to start on the Dodgers side because I was thinking about this before. There are some guys, especially a certain really big guy, that you really need to get hot. Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, they need to lock in. They need to get hot, right?
For sure.
They just need to.
Obviously, Shohei in that series against the Phillies, that didn't look like himself. He has a 46 WRC plus, and that equates to a 604 OPS so far in 30 plate appearances, which again, small sample size. But for a guy like Shohei Ohtani, that's a guy you expect to kind of, be doing well throughout the postseason. You don't expect him to start like this.
Exactly.
And obviously, with the talent they have in the lineup, they can get away with him not having his A game.
Exactly.
But I mean, obviously, when Mookie's playing at his MVP form right now as well.
Mookie Betts has been ridiculous in the playoffs. He's been so good.
Yeah.
He's been really good. So it's kind of helped mask it a little bit. They've had like certain big moments from guys. Will Smith is another guy that really needs to get going. I do understand he did miss the wild card series with the injury, and this is him like fully back right now. He's catching.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember what I said after the wild card series?
What did you say? I can't remember.
I said as long as Ben Werfit's doing his sticking in there and doing good enough, then they'll be fine at the catcher position. He's been doing that for the most part, like throughout the postseason. So I think at this point, if Will Smith isn't getting good at bats, which he clearly isn't so far, I don't think that it's that egregious to say, Morphic can take some of the duties for a little, because you want to make sure that he heals. You want to make sure that he's not putting himself, because at the end of the day, if your options are a guy whose hand is very injured and a guy who's fully healthy, even if there is a skill difference, you're probably taking the healthy guy.
Yeah, because like in the first two games, he came in to pinch hit, and then he caught games 3 and 4. He was just the starting catcher, period.
Yes.
But you are going to that's such a big bat for them in the regular season. He had a 900 OPS. You simply need that production back.
We do, and obviously at this point of the year where there's no minor leagues going on where you can rehab in actual games, you kind of have to have them rehab as they play. But it's just, I don't know. The way I see it though, can you afford to wait for him to get hot?
I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can, but at the same time,
they got away with it against Philly. If they went to a game 5, it really would have been dicey, though.
Another guy that really needs to get going is Andy Pages. He had one hit.
I was
that
about
whole
to say
series.
that.
He
was brutal.
He was brutal. Like he went hitless against the Reds too. Like he wasn't, or I think he went hitless. He went hitless against the Reds too.
For those wondering, that's a negative 70 WRC plus.
His OPS in the playoffs is 122. Like you simply need to get going. You need something. You don't even need to be like great. If you can even put up a 500 OPS, that is so much better than what you're giving them right now. Like you need something.
That's the thing. Like at least Will Smith's excuse is he's hurt. What's Andy Pages' excuse?
He went from being an all-star for this team. He was in the all-star game. And he's batting ninth for them. Like he's a
very good player for sure. Very talented player. And obviously, I expect that we're gonna see a jump from him eventually.
But at the same time, like,
he just simply put, he needs to be better.
You simply need to be, he needs to be better. The Dodgers have a lot of big bats that they need to be better, and you are going to need it, especially against a pitching staff like Milwaukee.
You also need to click at the right time. You don't want it to be where it's like, oh, Shohei gets hot, but he's the only guy that records any extra base hits.
Exactly.
Or like, Teoscar and Mookie are doing their job, but then Muncy starts, forgetting how to hit, something like that.
And then Freeman's
you need
doing
to
this,
click.
yeah.
Yeah.
you do need to click, especially against a pitching staff like this. You are not going to get anything easy against the Brewers. We saw that against the Cubs series because even like at times their offense kind of struggled. They got a lot of solo shots, but the big thing was that the Cubs weren't really getting guys on base at all, and that was really what killed their offense. They were hitting for good power, but no one's on base,
Yeah.
right?
Also, how about Kike Hernandez that series?
Kike, man, Kike's always a killer.
He came up clutch a couple times there.
That man, he's a killer. He's a killer.
He had the third highest championship wins probability added in that series. Number one, Teoscar, who had that huge home run.
Yeah, makes sense.
Obviously in game one. Number two is a guy who had 2 at bats.
That's just insane, man. Listen,
Call.
I know that we talk. I just want to talk one more second about Kike. I know we talk about playoff risers and droppers for the most part aren't really real. I say for the most part because I do reserve very special exceptions, and Kike Hernandez is one of them because I don't know what the fuck happens every single time. It's actually ridiculous. You remember the fucking 3 home run game against the Cubs to send them to the World Series?
Yeah, remember when he hit that one against the Padres in the Wild Card Series? That's the thing. You look at it, his career in the regular season, WRC plus is 91. Postseason career, 133.
It's genuinely just ridiculous. It's like the last time that he it's ridiculous, man. He's nuts. I don't understand it. But he's a guy.
Another guy that I think could be considered a playoff riser just because he's a big game player for the most part is Teoscar Hernandez. With that bat, he's very talented overall, but in the postseason, he finds that next step. And I remember back in he had that 2 home run game in a game we're not going to talk about. Yeah, we're not going to talk about what happened after,
we
but
won't. It doesn't matter.
Electric.
It doesn't count.
Fun to watch.
Yeah, no, that's another one too. And obviously, we talked about the big home run this series. He was good against the Reds too. Last postseason, he was pretty solid for them. But yeah, they need their big time guys to wake up because again, you're not going to get anything easy against the Brewers. They need their bullpen to be really good. They're going to need to probably lean a little bit on guys like Sasaki. If the Brewers chase a starter early, it's going to cause a lot of trouble for them because, like we said, their bullpen has struggled a bit. Maybe not the postseason hasn't been quite as bad, but if the Brewers chase a starter early, which is very possible, they get on base again more than any team in baseball, right? They are maybe, or I think it was second, maybe. I don't remember exactly what it was. Let me double check the exact figure before I speak and spread misinformation on.
But yeah, as you look that up,
it's second most behind.
Yeah. Yamamoto, the Phillies got to him one of the games where he gave up 3 and 4 innings, and if they can do so, obviously that was in the 4th inning, but they held the Dodgers to 1 run at that point, the Phillies. If they can jump and just get a couple of runs, just 1 inning where they just somehow get 2-3 runs just to put pressure on that bullpen and that lineup to do something. And I think that's how the Brewers are going to have to win games. They're not going to be winning games because they're just out slugging them by just hitting home runs left and right.
You're going to have to hold them off too.
Yes.
That's the other thing.
I think that the pitching staff has, what it takes to shut it down. I think their pitching staff is better than the Phillies, obviously. And the Phillies, in Game 5, held them to 2 runs in 11 innings.
This is the best pitching staff.
Game 4, rather.
This is the best pitching staff of any team currently in the postseason, and maybe out of any team that was in the playoffs regardless, and I don't honestly think it's very close.
Yeah. And their lineup just has to do, they have to do just enough. They don't have to be overwhelming. You don't need Andrew Vaughn to hit 6 home runs. You don't need Churio to be hitting 700, which obviously that would help. But you just need to do enough. I think that you don't, you know what I mean? If the Brewers can just score, let's say, 3 runs a game, I think they could win this series, genuinely.
Now, with that being said, this is a much better pitching staff than the staff that they just faced, right? Much better. Their bullpen, neither bullpen is particularly great. This rotation runs circles around the Cubs. They had Tyler Glasnow start Game 4. He would have been the Game 1 starter for the Cubs by a mile. It would not have even been a second consideration. So, they are going to have their hands full with the starting pitchers. You're probably looking at I don't remember what the rest is like off the top of my head, but you're realistically, what are you starting? Snell, Yamamoto, game 1 and 2. You're starting Glasnow. You're starting. I'm forgetting someone really like important. I feel
No.
like Snell. Did I not say Snell? I thought I did.
Oh, you might have. I don't know.
I don't remember. Regardless, you are going against an absolutely ridiculous pitching.
Yeah, it was Snell, Yamamoto, Otani, Glass.
Otani, duh, that's who it was.
Oh, you didn't say Otani.
Otani,
yeah.
that's what I forgot. Duh. Literally the guy known for doing both.
Which
things.
obviously Otani, pretty memorable player.
Pretty memorable player. You know what happens. But they're going to have their hands full with this rotation as well. It's a much better rotation than the Cubs. Like,
yeah,
as good as like someone like Matt Boyd is. He's like the 5-star on the Dodgers team.
And that's why I think if they can get 2 or 3 runs, obviously not in the game, I'm saying like off their starters. If they can just get 2 or 3 runs off their starters, they can very well win this series.
Yes, because it's going to be really tough work on that bullpen.
Just get to the bullpen. I mean, we saw that. I mean, we've seen it throughout the entire postseason so far. Kershaw obviously having that one outing where he got lit up. But Vesia, obviously a good pitcher. He hasn't been himself. Blake Trinan down the stretch and in the postseason, he hasn't been great.
Wasn't great.
I mean, it's just everyone kind of struggling a bit. I mean, obviously not everyone. You got a guy like Roki who's pitched 5 1/3 inning, not giving up an earned run yet. But the guys that they want to rely on, like Trinan and Vesia on this case, they haven't been able to. Mm-hmm. And there's guys who they're not even using, really. Like, did Tanner Scott even pitch before he got hurt?
I don't think he did. I don't remember if he did.
I don't think he did, no.
And
so...
but
obviously he was also struggling, and they felt they couldn't rely on him, which just goes to show how little confidence they have in this bullpen. The outside of Roki, really.
The last time Tanner Scott pitched, it was I think the first game in their last regular season series against Seattle, the 26th.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just their bullpen. They clearly know it's weak. Mm-hmm. They clearly know that's going to be their Achilles heel. That's what's going to kill them if they lose this series. And that's why if the Brewers can just get to them early, forcing them to take them out of the game, or even just going deep into counts, raising the pitch counts early to just get the starters out of the game, then I think they're in a position to win this series.
Mm-hmm.
What's your prediction?
Do we want to make an overall prediction?
Yeah.
I feel bad picking against them again. Well, actually, I guess no matter who I'm picking against them the second time. But I do feel bad picking against them again because I do really think this Brewers team is really good. But I think that the talent of the Dodgers is just so ridiculous. I know I did pick the Phillies over them, but I think that team is also nuts. The Dodgers team, I think their offense is insane. Their starting rotation, their rotation is nuts. Their rotation is better than any team in the playoffs, eliminated or not, and it's not close. You're fucking looking at Tyler Glasnow starting a game 4. Like, that's insane. Like, say that out loud. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing we're looking at. They could realistically... They brought him out of the bullpen, I think, in game 2. Like, realistically, they might be able to do that again.
Yeah.
And they can get away with it because it'll be fine. Low-key, now I'm thinking about it. But their offense is ridiculous. I do think that the Brewers are going to put up a really good fight. Like, I could very well see this going 6-7 games. I'm going to pick the Dodgers, and I'm going to have them as back-to-back NL champions.
Yeah.
That's who I got coming out of this series. Who do you got?
I got the Dodgers as well. I think it's going to go 6, and they're going to win in 6. Mm-hmm. This isn't me saying that I think the Brewers are bad, and if they win, I'm not going to be, like, absolutely shocked. I think they're a very talented baseball team, and if they won, I would not be shocked because they've proved the entire season that they can keep up with the big guys. Mm-hmm. I just think that it's unreasonable to think that guys as talented, and I can't bank on guys like Otani and Freeman to just keep hitting the way they're hitting.
Yeah,
They're too good not to heat up. And once those two get going, their lineup goes from good to unbelievable.
I can't bank on Otani's OPS like starting with a 5. I can't bank on that. I can't bank on Freeman starting
No.
with a 6. I just can't. I can't bank on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I definitely.
And you know what? Maybe it happens. Maybe like they have really maybe the Brewers pitching staff just holds them off, continues to hold some other guys off too, and they end up advancing. That's very possible. Like I do want to stress again that that we are not picking against the Brewers here because we think that the Brewers are frauds or they're this or that. We think that we have said they're ridiculous. We broke down exactly why they're really, really, really good.
It's just hard to pick against the Dodgers.
The Dodgers are also ridiculous. Like someone has to lose, right?
Yeah.
Now, we want to talk about the championship series on our side of things.
Yeah, I think we can.
All right, man. The ALCS, Blue Jays and Mariners. This is okay. Not only is this going to be a really good series because both teams are good. This is the first time in 10 years that Toronto's been there, or 9 years, whatever. It's their chance to go to their first World Series since 93, so that's 32 years. And the Mariners fighting to go for their first World Series ever, which is so fun. Yes. That's so awesome. I love that.
Either way, a team is going to be ending a drought of some sort.
Yes, some World Series drought is going to be ended here, or at least like appearance drought is going to be ended, bare minimum.
Yes, appearance. But I mean, look, you look at the teams. 2 of the teams that are left have never won. One of them, obviously, is the Dodgers, and another one hasn't won in 30 years. Mm-hmm. So it's cool that 3 out of the 4 teams have a chance to end a long drought, with half of them being never like their first.
Mm-hmm. So let's go over some things here really quick. Obviously, we talked about how the Mariners' offense needs to lock in. They need to lock in.
Yes.
Their offense against the Tigers was not good. They really won because they were able to hold off the Tigers' offense. Not that they were playing particularly well coming into the playoffs anyways, but the Tigers weren't scoring against them. They scored 3 runs, 3 runs.
Blue Jays lineup is definitely better than this Tigers lineup.
It is not a lot better.
Up for debate either.
It is so much better. The Mariners pitching staff is going to have their hands full, right? The Blue Jays pitching staff are, even if they're not the best offense in ball, they are, by WRC plus in the regular season, they were 4th. By runs scored, where were they? They were 4th as well. They might be the hardest to deal with. You know what I mean? Because they don't strike out. They run counts like fucking madmen. It's even if they're not the best offense, they don't produce the most runs, whatever. They might be honestly the most difficult to deal with in that department.
Yeah, I mean when they have guys that in the Mariners in the rotation that haven't really been striking a lot of guys out. Bryce Miller and Luis Castillo have not been striking guys out a ton. Obviously, 1 outing each because they've only played 5 games, but the fact that they're, striking out less than a batter per inning. Then you got Gilbert, who obviously struck out 7 in 6 innings, very good performance, and Kirby struck out 14 and 10. Those are good, those are decent strikeout numbers on those 2.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, when you play the Blue Jays, those numbers drop heavily. So, for example, 3 and 2 in 8, so 5 strikeouts in the 9 innings that you got from Castillo and Miller, that's not going to really be 9.
Mm-hmm.
Or not 9, that's not really going to be 5. The Blue Jays don't strike out as much as the Tigers. 14 and 7, it's not going to be 21 strikeouts in those 16 innings. It's just not. So
not.
They need to make sure that they're able to, their offense cooks, because when it comes down to it, the Blue Jays have been proving they can hit on any pitcher, any team, any staff. The Mariners have yet to prove that in this postseason for the most part.
They have. The Jays,
with the exception of Cal Raleigh.
They have. They were beating up on Max Fried. They were beating up on Carlos Rodon. They were even Luis Heel. I understand he's not on the same level as the other 2, but he's still pretty good. They were beating up on
even
those guys.
Schlittler. They were able to muster a couple runs, and it was just enough.
Mm-hmm. You don't need 8 runs to win every single game. Now,
no.
I will say, on the other hand, the Mariners are probably we don't have to fucking face any Tarek Skubals anymore. Bless the fucking Lord. No one on Toronto staff comes close to Skubal. That is not. I don't really. It doesn't take a genius to tell you that.
No.
this rotation, admittedly, it still does have some concerns. Now, keep in mind, we do not have the full Championship Series rosters out yet. This episode might come out by the time those are announced. I don't know what time those are going to be released.
I think sometime in the morning.
Sometime in the morning, yeah. I'm not sure exactly what time they'll be out. I'm not sure when this episode's going to drop, but what time exactly. But the series, they might be out, they might not. You're looking at Gosman game 1. I think the Mariners are starting Bryce Miller, who has,
Yes.
you know, it's been shaky. It's been shaky.
Yeah.
It's been shaky for Bryce Miller, so that's something in game 1 that Toronto definitely has the advantage in. And for the early part of the series, one thing that's to look at, because the Mariners, obviously kind of out of necessity, they drained their pitchers in game 5. Right? They have one off day. By the time that game ended, or at least EST, I don't know what it was in their time zone, I don't remember. Technically, the ALCS started tomorrow by the time that game was done. Right?
Yeah. And they need to catch a 5-hour flight, get ready for the media day, which got pushed back, and the workouts that got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So they're definitely tired. But yeah, I mean, the thing with Bryce Miller is against the Blue Jays this year, obviously regular season's different than the postseason. But he pitched 5 innings, and in those 5 innings, he gave up 7 runs. He walked 2, and he only struck out 3.
Because the thing is, even like for the season, like when he struggled, like he's been struggling, he has not been striking guys out. His regular season numbers, his strikeouts per 9 are below 7.5 strikeouts per 9. He doesn't strike guys out. The home run numbers are pretty high too. Which, keep in mind, this Blue Jays team is they were pretty good against the Yankees at hitting for power, especially in those 2 games at the Rogers Center. That is going to be a matchup that's going to be tough.
And Luis Castillo hasn't been better. In 10 innings, he's given up 8 runs. I mean, he's been just as shaky, I would say, as Miller against the Jays. Both OPS is, climbing into the 950 plus area.
Mm-hmm.
So he definitely, Castillo obviously would like to get those numbers up, considering before this year he pitched relatively well against the Blue Jays.
He did. He was really good before this year. That's why part of it was so surprising, especially he just the struggles this year. It's obviously a big pitching disadvantage. Now that is not to say that he can't pitch good. He very well could have a very good outing. The Mariners could get to Dosman and they could steal the first game. Stealing the first game would be such a massive thing for Seattle. It would have been like Detroit taking game the first game against the Mariners, and then you have Terry Skubal, and then in game 2, right? It would be like the same kind of thing if the Mariners were able to take game 1 at such a matchup disadvantage, fatigue, everything. They're at a big disadvantage in that department for at least the early part of the series until it goes back to Seattle.
And the Blue Jays there's no excuses, have to take game 1.
Mm-hmm. They need to bare minimum go into Seattle with a split, bare minimum.
Yes.
Because
that's what I'd say. You can afford to split. Then the thing is, if you split, then you probably would like to win 2 out of 3 on the road, which won't be easy. But
it won't be.
Yeah.
The thing with the Jays too, their rotation has been. Well, I say the rotation. It's 3 guys right now. We don't know who their 4th starters are going to be. We are going to assume. I think it's a pretty safe assumption. They're going to need some extra length, right? That was a thing they could.
Brian Wu is expected to be pitching at some point in the series. What they said, I think the speculation is around game 3 or 4. So okay. Brian Wu will definitely be getting a start. Safe to say, in Seattle.
So what you're probably looking at after that, I don't know what the rest lines up who would start game 2 for them, but you're probably looking at after Bryce Miller, you're looking at some combo of Kirby, Castillo, Gilbert, and Wu. And Bryce Miller, he probably doesn't start after game 1. That's probably his only start of the series. Once Wu is fully...
I would say Castillo probably gets game 2, if I had to guess.
How much did he pitch in game 5? I thought he pitched a decent amount, did he not?
I don't think he pitched many pitches.
Or am I misremembering? Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. I'm thinking of, he only threw 15 pitches. You might be right.
Yeah, I think he'll take game 2, and then...
Yeah, and then you go after that. After game 1, Bryce Miller probably won't start again in the series. He probably moves to the pen, like a bulk man, something like that.
I have to ask, game 4, Jays-Yankees, did you remember seeing Trey Savage go to the bullpen, right?
Yes, I heard that was a decoy.
Did you hear what John Schneider says that he was just, he basically said he was trolling, which is funny.
You gotta respect it.
You do.
Listen, if I had a if I was a Yankee hitter and I had a big spot and then I didn't potentially tie the game and I saw Trey Savage coming in knowing what he did in the last game, I'd start pissing myself. I'd actually just piss myself.
Yeah.
Like there would be urine on the plate. The plate would turn yellow. They would have to bring out. Well, listen, that little brush with the umpires that wouldn't be enough. They'd have to bring out motherfuckers to clean the plate.
Okay, they need to bring a mop and janitor.
They'd have to bring the grounds crew wouldn't be enough.
Disinfectant spray.
They
would.
The whole shebang. They have to bring out some of that surface cleaner, shit like that, some Lysol. They need
the Swiffer. They
need Swiffer. They need it. Anyways, you're looking at this. You Savage game 2. Bieber probably gets game 3. You need some sort of length. Another starting pitcher on the series. You were able to get away with it in the Yankee series because the bullpen game worked out. This is a longer series, especially in a game 4. I don't think you can afford to do a bullpen game in game 4 because a bullpen game requires 2 things. Number 1, you are burning so many of your pitchers. Everyone needs to be like perfect for it to work out, right?
It worked out in game 4 for the Jays, but it's not. You can't just expect it to work out every time.
The other thing is, if the Jays would have lost game 4 against the Yankees, they have an off day and then they have game 5. If they go to a bullpen game in game 4 against Seattle, you play again the next day. And a lot of those guys might not be available again. Or if they are, they're not going to be 100%. They're not going to have it fully, right?
Yeah.
So you need some sort of length. They were talking about Bassett or Scherzer. We talked about in the last
I think you gotta go Bassett.
You have to. If he's able to, I don't want Scherzer anywhere near a playoff roster. Like, with all due respect to the legend, you can't. I'm sorry, no, I don't want him anywhere close. This, especially against Seattle. Seattle is one of the best power hitting teams in the league. I think they were like 7th in home runs. You don't even have to look at that. You can just look at the power hitting names on this roster. You go down like their top 5 in order. I think is Randy, Cal, Julio. I think they were batting Polanco cleanup, and then Suarez and the Naylor. Like, that's ridiculous. Scherzer would get fried by these guys. He would get burned alive.
I think what definitely helps with starting a guy like Bieber in Seattle is the fact that, well, he didn't give up, he wasn't giving up home runs against the Yankees. T-Mobile Park is a notorious, pitcher-friendly park.
They said on one of the broadcasts that someone described it as, I don't remember if it was one of the, like a pitcher, home or away, or whoever it was. I don't remember who actually described it as that, but they said on the broadcast, like someone was saying, what Coors is to hitters, T-Mobile is for pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, the park factor is significantly lower. The difference in park factors between, number 1 in terms of the lowest and number 2 is the same difference as number 2 to number 26.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning there are 23 ballparks, or 24 that are the same difference in in park factor within each other than the Mariners are to the second closest.
Mm-hmm.
Which just shows how pitcher friendly it is.
Yeah.
And I think that'll definitely do the Jays, it would do the pitchers good, especially when you're going to have to pitch Bieber, who gives up hard contact, and a guy like potentially Bassett, because that will definitely help. That's when you want them to pitch. And I really like what they're doing with Savage pitching at home in the Yankees and now pitching at home here, basically almost confirmed to game 2. I do love that because, first of all, that's what happens when you get the home field advantage and you get the bye and everything. You're able to, plan it how you want. Another thing is, he's a rookie. He's pitched 14 regular season innings, and then the outing that he just had against the Yankees. He definitely loves playing with the atmosphere. He said it. He backed it up. And I like what they're doing. They're not just throwing him into a hostile environment on the road. They're letting him pitch at home and get comfortable. And you're having the veterans pitch on the road, and Bieber and Bassett, and then probably Gossman as well, obviously.
Yeah, Gossman, I think, would be lined up for Game 5 if I'm thinking about it correctly.
And I love that. I love the way it works. If it was Bassett and Bieber pitching at home, I don't know if I'd love that as much, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But if the thing is, like with Yankee Stadium, with how many home runs are hit there and how many, extra base hits in general, the fact that Bieber was in there, that wasn't a great matchup. But now you're looking more towards the pitcher-friendly ballpark in Seattle, with how much better the Jays' offense has been than Seattle, at least recently. I think that really helps the Jays' case over the Mariners because their hitters are able to hit whoever, wherever. That's been proven. Whereas the Jays' biggest question mark right now is the depth of their rotation.
Mm-hmm.
If they're getting put in the pitcher-friendly park, that could do wonders, and that could really save them.
They also do just match up a lot better against the Mariners than they do the Yankees. I do understand that, I know that I wouldn't say they held off the Yankees offense because they had 7 runs in a game, 6, and they had flashes, right?
In fairness, when they scored 7, it was against mostly low leverage relievers when they scored in the game.
Fair,
too.
that is fair, but the Yankees offense, number one, it's the best in baseball. That's not really a debate. They're the best power hitting team in the league. Seattle's 3rd in home runs. I kept saying they were 7. My bad, guys. They're a better power hitting team than Seattle. They also get on base a lot. They are tied with Milwaukee in on base percentage. The Yankees, the regular season. So they were second. They were tied for being the second best team in baseball at getting on base. Seattle is 11th. So it is going to be you feel a little bit better about keeping some guys off base, so that when those home runs do come, because they're going to come, you're hoping it's a solo shot instead of a 3-run shot, right? Now another thing is that this is not a super strikeout heavy starting rotation outside of Savage and what he can do with his stuff. This isn't a strikeout heavy rotation. Gausman isn't the same strikeout pitcher that he was 2-3 years ago. Bieber wasn't really striking guys out when he came back from his injury. Bassett's not particularly a big strikeout guy. They can get strikeouts, but they're not strikeout pitchers. You know what I mean?
Right. They're not like Trey or Gausman for the most part.
Exactly. And even even Gausman isn't the same strikeout pitcher.
No,
was
but
2 years ago,
the thing is with Gausman is he definitely shows those flashes where he's striking out 8-9 guys a game, whereas a guy like Bassett, you're not seeing that. A guy like Bieber, you're not seeing.
He does. And the other thing is, Seattle, they hold one of the higher K rates in the league. They have the 7th highest K rate in the league. They have the 3rd highest K rate of any team that was in the playoffs, only behind the Yankees and the Tigers. That will be an interesting thing. Maybe that works in the Jays' favor because you are inherently getting not as great contact from these guys as you were the Yankees. The Yankees are just a better team at when they make contact. That's part of the reason why their offense is a lot better. Or maybe because the Mariners are saying, oh, we don't have to go up against a schoolball. We can maybe hit these guys a little bit more. It might work out in their favor. Who knows? But it's a thing to look at.
One matchup I absolutely love in the series, we talked about him earlier and how good he was in the division series for the Blue Jays. Dalton Varsho, obviously. He had 2 home runs. He had an OPS of 1471. He slugged an even 1,000. And against left-handed hitters, or pitchers rather, this season, he, in the regular season, 98 WRC plus. He had 2 home runs. He did have a higher average, though, but against righties, 129 WRC plus with 18 home runs. Obviously, the bigger sample size against the righties. However, it's worth noting that it was about 25% of the at-bats were against lefties, so even if you put it together, that would be on pace for 8 home runs compared to 18 home runs. So one thing to note is the starting rotation of the Mariners are all righties.
No lefty starters. That helps him. That helps someone like him. It helps out a guy.
Who is an X factor and who has also been very good against left-handed hitters recently. That's not something that obviously it's not like he's bad against lefties or he's been terrible, but it's the fact that he's getting the more favorable matchup in every single one of the games when he's starting. And not only that, now you don't have to worry are we going to see Varsho struggle, against lefties? Because first of all, he's already proved that he can hit lefties. And second of all, he's not going to see many of them.
This is true because really what you're looking at on the Mariners roster, again, you said they have no lefty starters. Out of their bullpen, it's Gabe Spire and Caleb,
who just gave up a lefty bomb.
This is true.
Terry Carpenter.
This is true, and then it's Caleb Ferguson, but I was a big fan of the trade when they made it, but he hasn't been that great with Seattle. Like his
No.
results have been fine. Like his ERA 3.27 with them. The underlying stuff isn't super great. He doesn't strike guys out. He like the walks are a little higher than you want from a reliever. Not that they're at a bad mark, but they didn't even really go to him much in that series. Like
No.
once you like really the lefty that scares me there is Spire. It's Spire. That's it. That's the
Yes,
only.
obviously gave up the home run, but aside from that, he's been very good throughout the season.
He's very
and
good. You have no
Yes.
reason not to trust him against a lefty.
I'm just noting that, in Varsho's case, he gave up a lot. Like it's not like he's shut down.
Oh yeah,
shut down
absolutely. But what I'm getting at is you have him. You have to be so careful in which matchup you pick because if you're gonna have Varsho in there, Barger's gonna be in there too. I'd imagine Lucas is gonna get some starts. Not that I don't think Lucas's splits are actually that crazy. I think he's pretty even if I remember right. But like for guys like Varsho and Barger, where
the thing with Lucas though, when runners are in scoring position, he's unbelievable.
He's a demon. But what I'm getting at is
and it's
like,
crazy the story. Before you continue quickly, I just want to say, did you see the thing about Lucas? How close he was to retiring?
Yeah, he didn't. He was like
it's insane.
Yeah,
he was given it one more off season. And look at the
him.
Jays on the line.
And he had two massive hits, the game 1 and then the game 4.
Yeah.
But back to what I was saying, like they have to be really careful about where they use Spire because if you use him in one spot, that is your top lefty out. You have Ferguson, which you can bring in later, but he is not nearly as good as Spire. Let's get that out of the way. He did not pitch well against the Tigers. He was a little iffy down the stretch for Seattle.
Yeah.
So if they go to him, which they probably would at another point, you are kind of losing a lot of matchups. Whereas like the Yankees low-key had the advantage in certain pitching matchups. Like they had a matchup advantage against Varsho, against Barger. Barger wasn't starting against their lefties. You don't have that, right?
No.
And this is still a lineup that can hit right-handed pitching. Like they don't, like I know that a guy like Ernie Clement is obviously so much better against lefties, but we saw how he was killing righties in the Yankees series too. You can throw Springer and Vlad, and Schneider is also a lot better against righties than against lefties. What I need to happen for John Schneider is I need him to stop pretending that Davis Schneider does not have ridiculous reverse splits. I need him to pretend that this isn't a thing. I need him to acknowledge that actually, Schneider, you are a lot better against right-handed pitching than you are against lefties, right? 155 diversity plus against righties, and he's routinely not playing against them. It's infuriating. Like, you'll see him get, they go to a different matchup against him, and it's so... I need that to not happen, right? If you go a top 5 of like Springer, Schneider, Vlad, Barger, Kirk, Varsho, I guess Varsho will be 6. He probably hits 5 and then Kirk 7 or 6, excuse me. That's going to match up really well against the Mariners pitching staff. It's going to. And again, it's going to be actually they might do Kirk and then Varsho so they don't have the two lefties back to back. Okay, regardless of however they do it, that's not important. You have a big matchup. You have a pretty good matchup against the rotation, and then, like I said, they have to be really careful where they use Spire. They have to be very methodical because once you use them, keep in mind, like you use them, that's your top lefty out. You don't have another shutdown lefty in there. You can go to 100%. And you can say, "That's our guy. Go in there, retire Varsho, retire Barge, retire whoever else." Right? You just don't have that, right? And if they play Ernie in this series against the righties and he continues hitting, it's like, what do you do? Right?
Yeah.
What do you do?
100%.
Especially a lot of Jays bats, they were hot coming into the series too. It's not like the concern with the Mariners bats is that they were cold coming into the series. The Jays are red hot. Vlad, Varsho, Ernie, to name a few. Like, those guys are red hot. And like some of the guys are cold right now. Like Springer does need to get it going. That's someone you would kind of expect to get it going. It's going to be a really tough matchup for Seattle. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's Jays in 5. I'm not going to sit here and act like that because Seattle. Listen, if you've listened, you know how much I think that this Mariners team has the potential to just completely walk any team in the league. They have the potential to just dog walk any team. This team is nuts. But
Yeah.
they're not flawless. They are not perfect. And listen, in my playoff bracket, I chose Mariners over Blue Jays.
You did.
I am officially amending my.
You are.
I am officially amending my prediction. The
last thing to talk about before we make our predictions is just the health of Bo Bichette in general, because obviously the video that was posted, I don't know who the original is from. It's from Sportsnet, taken from Sportsnet. Gate 14 podcast. I tweeted out the video if you want to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
He tweaked something in his knee when he was running. He landed weirdly on the base and had to stop his running drills. I don't even know if he'll be able to play in this series.
Mm-hmm.
And going forward, hypothetically, if the Jays win without him, do you want to mess with anything and get him in the lineup? Because he hasn't faced live at bats in it would be a full month at that point.
Yeah. It's a decision that they're gonna have to think about. If he does somehow return in the series, it would be like near the end of the series. It's obviously a tough loss for them. If you look at it and you compare it to the Yankee series, obviously they're not losing anything because they didn't have him in that series either and they were killing. Yes. But that does not mean that everything is going to be the same and they're going to score 10 runs and then 12 runs, right? That's not...
The thing is, if he plays, it would have to be in a role similar to how the Phillies utilized Harrison Bader in that series.
He comes in,
where
he pinch hits.
He'd pinch hit and then get pitch run for, or at the very least, if he is good enough to start, he cannot play the defense. Like
he's DHing. He's DHing.
But I think in a Harrison Bader role could be good. The only problem is, like, if he's not able to get live at bats and get into like the rhythm, I don't know if it's a good idea to just have him as a pinch hitter because he's cold.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just.
That's the problem.
If you were to use them, that's probably what they would do, but it's hard to say.
That's the problem. And we've seen how
if he even makes the roster.
We've seen how like Will Smith, he's come back from his injury, and like he at first he was pinch hitting, then he was catching later in the game, and he just hasn't. He's been cold so far in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not even cold as in like, no reps. I mean that too,
on the
but like
opposite
he
side,
hasn't been playing well.
Bader was good for the Phillies.
That is true.
Like he had some big hits, so
that is true.
It'll be interesting. But back to what you were saying, your prediction. You said you were right and you're wrong here.
I'm righting my wrong here. Listen, I picked the Jays against the Yankees. I did say that series is going 5. I said it was going to be a really tough one. This is going to be another really tough series. Again, I don't want to sit here and act like I'm picking against Seattle because I think that they're not good, they shouldn't be here, they're this and that, they're so much inferior. This team is really good, they have a really good starting rotation, they have a really good lineup. I do think that the Jays match up good against them, though. I do like how they match up. Now that I'm looking at it a lot more intensely, right? When we made the brackets, we weren't looking at each hypothetical matchup as intensely as we are right now. Everything is under a magnifying glass right now. Yeah. And we see all these things. We see all these tiny things here. I do like now that I look a lot more against how the Jays match up against the Mariners, I do like the matchup. I'm picking Toronto in this series. Maybe I'm biased. Suck my balls. C-Bow, SMD, whatever it takes. I'm picking Toronto here. So that means I got a Jays-Dodgers World Series. How many games? I'm going to say this is going to be a 6-gamer. Yeah.
Like, I want to say that it'll be Jays in 6, obviously, but I picked against them last time and it worked. So for that sake, I'll say Mariners in 7. But in the actual, looking at it from the baseball perspective and not trying to reverse jinx, I think Jays in 6. And I do want to just do this quickly, like before. Let's pick some, because they do MVPs for the NLCS and ALCS. So let's pick our MVPs. Who do you got for the Blue Jays?
You know who I got?
Who do you have?
I got the X Factor, Dalton fucking Varsho.
That's exactly my pick. Right? I was thinking Springer because he could really break out. We know how he does in the postseason, but I just think Varsho with the matchups and his defense, I think he's gonna get it.
Mm-hmm. I do like he was hot against the Yankees. He matched up really well against them because they don't really have many lefties to throw against him, and even so, he was starting to hit lefties pretty well. But they don't have many guys that are going to match up very well against Varsho. I think that's a guy that's especially going to have a really good series. So yeah, that's going to be
What
my
about for the Dodgers?
for the Doyers. Who am I going to go with here? Who am I going to go with? I was debating if I wanted to go one of their starters. I'm not gonna. I'm ruling out some guys, respectfully. Ruling out guys for MVP is crazy, but you know, I got a feeling. I got a feeling right here, right? I got a feeling that this guy, he's gonna turn up. He's gonna have a big series. Big Fredward. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a big series.
Like
I'm feeling a big series from Fredward right here.
Yeah. So for mine, I was thinking it was between two guys. Well, obviously there's more guys. I was thinking like could be Freddie, could be Teoscar, Mookie. I mean, they have too many good players.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where I'm going. The direction
Where
I
are
was
we
thinking
going?
it could be Roki because he's been shut down. If he comes in 3 times or not 3 times,
Like on some Andrew Miller shit.
He comes up, yeah, like he comes up like 5 times in 7 games, and he just shuts the door, for example, for whatever. But people want to say the Brewers have devil magic. So how do you beat devil magic? With devil magic. Give me Kike Hernandez.
I knew when you said double magic, I knew exactly where you're going with it.
I mean, he's proven no matter what the stage is, he steps up. He's obviously, has some couple poor series. One of them was 2018. He had a 259 OPS in 6 games against Milwaukee. Well, Milwaukee wants their get back, he wants his.
I like it. I like it. He wants his get back, baby. He says, I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show each and every single one of y'all. I don't forget.
Exactly.
All right, man. I'm excited for these series. Game 1 of the ALCS is in less than 24 hours. It's 1:30 a.m. right now. This is going to go up in I don't know, sometime before Game 1. But, yeah, man. We got some fun-ass series. I'm ready. I'm ready to watch some electric baseball. I'm hoping it turns out the way I'd like it to turn out. But, yeah, man. I would love to... I'm looking for some series right here, man. I'm looking for some series. So, yeah. Anyone who's been listening at any point, any duration of the episode, no matter how long you've been listening, thank you so much. Anyone who's been keeping up with the playoffs intensely, I don't know about you, I've watched pretty much every playoff game. The only one I missed was Cubs Brewers Game 4. And that's because my sleep schedule got destroyed around that time. Every other playoff game, I've watched damn near every inning. But
yeah, I've watched pretty much the same. Maybe missed like 1 or 2, but I've seen like the big ones. Like I think I missed like maybe game like 2 of. I think I missed game 2 of Phillies Dodgers. It might have been. I'm not sure. I know I missed one because I was doing something, but yeah,
man. These have been some fun ass playoffs. There have been some big moments, some head scratchers, some things that even as like a fan who in some of these series I have no stake, I'm getting out of my seat. I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't getting like a bit of nerves when it's going into like the 15th inning of last night's game, in a game that meant, I don't want to say meant nothing because it means who we play, but in the sense of I don't have a horse in that race. It was just, it felt like I did.
I was playing Rivals with some people during that game, and I had my my monitor to my left. I had the game on there, and I was watching very intensely. And when it got near the end, I was like people kept going, yo, are we gonna queue in on the next game? I'm like, wait, hold on. I need this inning to end before we can queue. I'm not queuing if they can walk off. I'm not missing the walk off because I'm fucking fighting demons over here. But yeah, man. This play,
if there was ever a time you'd want Godly Postman on the other team, it was during that game.
It was during that. It was during that game, man. Yeah, man. These playoffs have been so much fun. I'm looking forward to the rest of the playoffs. ALCS, NLCS, I have no doubt these are going to be incredible series to watch.
For sure.
I'm like shaking with excitement. Like I'm so fucking ready for these series, man. I'm so ready. I love baseball. But anyways, we hope everyone enjoys the championship series. We're probably going to be here after the championship series end. Maybe we do maybe we do mid-series, but we're probably not. Probably do one after the CS and then before the World Series. In that case, we'll see you in our next episode.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Enjoy the championship series, and take care, everyone. We'll see y'all later.